Let's see. Do we have Jack on the line? Great, Jack.
You have me. Here I am, Michael. How you doing today?
Ta-da! Oh boy, back from the dead. That was just a horrible, horrible sickness that hit the Dallas Fort Worth area, and I caught it, but I came back.
Yeah. Well, so you're much better now.
Oh, a lot. Yes. All right. Well, Jack, what are you bringing to the table today?
Well, you sound terrific. Anyway, I thought what we'd do is just review for our listeners who might want to pay attention to some of these things that we post, the gap and go stocks worth watching. And I've kind of broadened the entry to include cryptocurrencies and bitcoins and initial coin offerings because that's become such an important part of anyone's discussion of anything to invest in these days. Don't you agree? And that's just so dominant in cocktail and other kinds of conversations, don't you think?
Yeah, we're going to create a show around it, yes.
Good. And so, and some of your former guests, too, have been very instructive for me to keep in touch with and learning more about blockchain and how it affects the coin offerings and a number of other things. Anyway, back to the blog. So we look at some of the entries that we make. I mean, I make quite a few trades every day, and then what I simply do, my method is just keep a note on some of the things that I want to put in the blog, maybe about 3 of the stocks that were particularly good that day. And then when you look at them over time, it's pretty interesting. So, for example, back on 10/2/2017, not that long ago, we did make our first purchase of Overstock at $30.10. And as you probably know, the stock has gone above $85 here just in the last week.
Right, so, symbol OST, right?
OSTK, that's it, overstock.com. And of course, when we made that first purchase, we didn't know really what was going on behind the scenes. But they had a very creative CEO who was working his way into a very convoluted but very sophisticated method of blockchain and cryptocurrency trading. So it now encompasses about 4 other companies. A couple of them are publicly traded, and one of them is a stock brokerage firm. So he's setting it up so that you don't have to go to some company you never heard of called Coinbase to open the account. You might have a standard brokerage account and be able to trade these things along with stocks. And so we made a couple of purchases along the way, and here's what triggers the purchase for me, Michael. The stock gaps up from its close on the previous day to the opening on the next day. And I just decided 2 years ago, after trading for many years, that I want to focus there. Because 3 things are happening, don't you think, when they gap up? That something unusual is going on behind the scenes, and number 2, lots of investors are aware of that, and that the demand far exceeds the supply. Now, that doesn't last forever, but it's good for the first, say, 5 or 10 minutes of the morning, and so something significant could be happening out in the future. So can we call it a harbinger? Harbinger? Is that how you pronounce it? Harbinger, I think.
Yes.
Harbinger, perhaps, of things coming up in the future that we're not aware of yet. So I want to caution the readers, though, that you don't want to be looking at stocks that are $1 and $2 and $3. I put those in there sometimes because they're very popular with people. But those are not the ones that you want to pay attention to for future activity. But I think when you get something that's $10 and it gaps to 11, something like that, and you maybe want to do what I do. I keep a notebook then for the weekends. And I begin to look at these things on a weekly basis and see if I want to buy them when they make a new high on a weekly basis. So with Overstock, what you would have done with that system was you would have purchased that stock 7 times since October 2nd, 2017. and it would probably be all you'd want to do for the rest of the year because depending on how much money you invested, you made a huge percentage return on your money. Now, we had another one in there that was pretty interesting that people aren't that aware of. We bought this about a week later, and it's a biotech stock. And we bought that for $53, and it's now $102. Sounds like a double, doesn't it?
Pretty good. What's the symbol?
ANAB. And it's called Anaptys Bio. Now, I didn't know anything about that company, except for the fact that it had been trading at about $51 a share, and the next day it opened at $53.21. So something was going on, as I said, a harbinger of future events. So that was one. Now, all of a sudden, automobile stocks are General Motors has made a big move up, and the foreign car maker Fiat has moved up, and we had a little stock at $5 back on 1017 called Sorrel Auto Parts. So not only is it part of this auto strength.
What's the symbol, Jack?
S-O-R-L. Okay. S-O-R-L. Sorrel, and the name of the company is Sorrel, spelled S-O-R-L, Auto Parts. And we bought that at $5.11, and it went up a little bit, then it pulled back down, went up, pulled back down. But it's holding forth. It's up about 40% for us, and it's around $7.50. And you want to keep an eye on that weekly. If it makes a weekly new high, I have an idea there's something else is going on there. We had a crazy day Friday where all of the most up stocks, all 10 of them, 70% were Chinese. So what's going on there? Is that just crazy speculation, or is it maybe something else? To be answered later.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. I'm not going to venture a guess at this point.
Right. So any questions you have about some of the things that you've seen in the blog?
No, nothing as of yet for the blog. What I want to find out is, looking forward, do you see that we're going to be having more volatility coming in? You're going to get more gap and goes as we go forward, as the trading season progresses?
I think we get the measure of volatility is that it's kind of like an ETF of volatility, the VIX. And whenever the market sells off a little bit, when the market is making this big move up, the volatility is really not there. By volatility, they mean, are there some big downdrafts in stocks? And we just haven't seen anything. We haven't seen a 10% pullback, Michael. And, some of your guests have been telling you, the market prognosticators, we haven't seen that in an unhealthy period of time, shall we say. So what I look for is a little more volatility, definitely,
okay,
in some of the leaders.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. You've been bringing great trades to the show and to the website. I want you to keep it up. And by the way, whenever you can get your hands on the CEO of Overstock, send him over.
Yeah, we'd like to have him on there, but he's a pretty busy guy these days.
All right, Jack, we got to go now. But before we do, quick contact info so people can follow up with you.
Well, the best thing to do is just go to axnjaxn.blogspot.com, or just pick it up right there on the station. It's published there every day. And thanks for doing that for me.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jack.
All right, sir. I look forward to hearing your SEO guest a little later this afternoon.
Yeah, me too. Damon Burton's his name.
Okay, very good. I look forward to hearing him.
Thanks. All right, Jack Stewart.
Michael.
You're welcome. He writes the Gap and Go blog on our website, WFN1.com. You've been listening to CEO Money with Michael Yorba. We'll be right back on the other side of this break with Ed Baxter and the Private Equity Moment.